Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Stollard. Mrs. Lindsay and I are excited to announce an opportunity for you guys to do something maybe a little bit more fun and not necessarily straight from the book. So, we have an extra credit assignment that if you complete it, we will give you 15 extra credit points towards your final grade. Um, so here's my quick explanation of it. Of course, if you have more questions, we're happy to answer those. You can text or email your questions. So, you guys have been reading about knights, and this whole idea of heraldry is described here on this first page. So, you can look through this. Basically, it helped to identify when knights were outfitted with all of their suit of armor, what the different symbols identify different knights. So here you can see there are directions. I have included a piece of paper with an outline of a shield that you guys can use. There's a description up here of what heraldry is, and then on the next page here is just a couple of ideas for you. I'm still going to be looking for you guys to include these items like your name, the directions, how many divisions your shield should have. So you can see there's different ways of dividing it up. You have to have at least one. How many symbols? I've included a couple of symbols down here and a lot more in other areas as well. So you need to have 2 medieval symbols and at least one that is personal to you. So if you love music, maybe you have music notes. If you love playing baseball or soccer, then maybe you have a soccer ball or a baseball. If you like to dance, maybe you have a dance shoe. So that would be the personal symbol that you can have. Then you need to have it colored, and colors are just going to depend on what you decide. The colors do have meanings, and I'll show you where to find those in a minute. You also need to explain why you chose the number of divisions, the colors, which you should have at least 2 different colors, but you can have more than 2 as long as you explain their meaning to you, and why you chose the 3 symbols that you chose. So your explanation needs to describe why you chose those items, and that would be separately on the back or on another piece of paper that you'll send us a picture of. Should be neat, and the number of points here are, if this was an actual project that you guys are working on, it is going to be 10 points for the shield and 5 points for the explanation for the extra credit assignment. So if we take a look, here's just some background. And if you look at the bottom, it talks about what is heraldry, what are the different stages of being a knight. In your book, there's a story about becoming a knight that you can read through that might be helpful. You didn't just become a knight, you started out at, it says, about 7 and older, training as a page, and then you guys as middle schoolers would be at the age of being a squire. And then as you get a little bit older, after 13, remember people didn't live as long, then they could be a knight when qualified. So whatever that age might be, probably more around 17 or 18 years old. So you can look through that. Here is the page you guys can print out of the shield, or you can see that I just used a ruler and a pen, and I traced it, so you can print it, or you can just make your own. If you're more creative than I am, most of you are, you could just go ahead and draw your own. So this one has charges, which is what they're called, but those would be called symbols on the assignment. So symbols or charges. So these tell you here what is the meaning. This tells you what's the name of the symbol, shows you an example of how to draw it. So that's what you can look at to decide for your 2 medieval symbols. There's all kinds of different ones to choose from. If you're not a very good artist, you might want to stick with something simple. And there are more in the online resources. For your divisions, you can decide to go with straight lines, or you can decide that between your divisions, you are going to use a like wavy line, which means clouds of air, or this one, which is because maybe I love the ocean, so I might choose this because it represents sea or water. This would be a town wall or fire, earth, land, and then just plain fire. So that's what not drawing a straight line between your divisions. You could do one of those. Here are different ideas for how to divide up your shield. So you can choose from any of these. It tells you a name and it does tell you what's the significance of this. So if you feel like you're the chief of the family or the chief of a clan, you might choose this division or would. And then it just goes on to tell about others. This would be cross. Some kids used that last year because they were Christian. They liked it. So lots of ideas. Colors. So when you choose your 2 colors or more, then you would want to look either here or at the online resource I'm going to share with you. And this is what it means. So let's say purple is my favorite color, but I don't feel like justice, sovereignty is being royal or regal, also being royal. If I don't feel like those really describe me, then I might want to choose a different color. So you have to kind of look at what's the meaning and does it personally mean something to you? Okay. More symbols. So here's some birds, animals. And here is an example of what a student did last year. So this is how she divided it up. Personal symbols, she had more than the minimum required. And then she had these medieval symbols. On the back, she discussed why she chose her colors, each symbol, and what it meant to her. Okay, there's my shoes. This one, more basic. They chose the heart and the anchor were medieval symbols, and then the flamingo was their personal symbol. And you can see what does the heart and the anchor and the flamingo mean, the division, the lines, the colors, the description. Okay, so that's the entire PDF. Really quick, if you go to the first link that I put on there, this was by far the kids' favorite last year because it just was a super quick, easy way to find pretty much all that information that's in the PDF. But this year, something's up. Not sure what. So if you click on colors, that's pretty easy. It tells you the color. You might call it purple. Here's what the Old English or the Irish would call those colors. So you can stick with the English word. And then here's what it means. And then here's obviously the color. And then if you go back to the first page that you click on, the lines gives you pretty much the same ones that are in that document I shared with you. And then different shields, ideas, again, pretty much the ones that you saw earlier. So just another place to find it. And I was hoping it would give you a lot of other ideas for charges or symbols. But when you click on these right now, it just says it's not working. So maybe by the time you guys start this next week, it'll work for you. Another place you guys can go is this English heritage site that I have uploaded for you. So again, it talks about the heraldic code, like why did they have these symbols, and gives you a little background. And then here is, again, those colors. And here's just some symbols. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but they're symbols. Here's the different ways you can divide up the divisions you can have in your shield. And then charges. So here's some ideas for different charges. It doesn't give you as many like ideas for charges, but it does tell you for the animals, like what the meanings would be a little bit. So, or you can look up your own sources. I mean, honestly, these are really complicated and intricate. I don't really expect you guys to get that intricate with it. So anyhow, that's pretty much it. All I want you guys to do is, if you want to do the project, kind of follow those directions that I laid out and let us know if you have questions. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with if you decide to do the assignment. If you decide not to, that's fine too. Just an idea, something that we thought you guys might enjoy. So have a great day and let us know if you have any questions.